The Calgary Stampeders are the only unbeaten team. We'll look ahead to Week 4 in the CFL. Also ahead on the CFL Report, Dexter Manley speaks with Leif Pedersen. The CFL Insider looks at league merchandising. We'll have another edition of our Plays of the Week. The toaster is a tie cap. And the Edmonton Eskimos exchange their football equipment for fishing gear. The CFL Report on TSN is brought to you by Pepsi. Gotta have it. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the CFL Report for Week 4 of this 1992 CFL season. I'm Gord Miller. Well, after 3 weeks, there's only one undefeated team left in the Canadian Football League. The Calgary Stampeders sit atop the West Division with a 3-0 record, followed by the Edmonton Eskimos, who are at 2-1. The Saskatchewan Roughriders picked up their first win of the season last week, while the BC Lions are 0-3. In the East, there's a tie for top spot between the Ottawa Roughriders and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, both teams at 2-1. While the Argos and the Ticats are both 1-2. Coming up in Week 4, we lead things off with a Grey Cup rematch as the Argos travel west to meet the Calgary Stampeders. The defending Western Division champions and head coach Wally Buono have the #1 ranked offense and defense in all of the Canadian Football League. That offense is led by quarterback Doug Flutie, a threat both to pass and to run. CFL's unanimous league MVP from last year having another banner season. The defense, meantime, is led by Calgary's explosive front four. The Toronto Argonauts have not been playing like Grey Cup champions, and the Argos are sporting a 1-2 record. A particular problem has been the defense, playing sloppy football and missing tackle after tackle. On offense, quarterback Ricky Foggy has been getting a lot of heat for his performance, and despite the fact that he has a broken bone in his hand, Coach Adam Rita says that Foggy is still his man. The result, the Argos will have their hands full with the Stampeders. In Hamilton, the Ticats entertain the Saskatchewan Roughriders, both of these teams coming off their first wins of the season. Don Matthews got a shower for Saskatchewan's victory over Ottawa. The Saskatchewan defense played a solid game, holding Ottawa to fewer than 300 yards in total offense. The Saskatchewan front four controlled the line of scrimmage and put constant pressure on the Ottawa quarterbacks. The Green Riders finished the game with 3 quarterback sacks. The Saskatchewan defense will have its hands full on Thursday, containing quarterback Damon Allen. Allen threw for 413 yards and 2 touchdowns last week as the Ticats beat the Argos. Earl Winfield was a key for the offense, scoring a pair of touchdowns, including a 77-yard punt return. The BC Lions go to the Winnipeg Stadium looking for their first win of the season. It has been a miserable start for Bob Obilovich and the Lions, and the faces pretty much tell the tale for Sad Sack BC. After 3 games, the Lions have the worst offense and the worst defense in all of the Canadian Football League. And to make matters worse, the Lions will be without quarterback Danny Barrett, who separated his shoulder on this play against the Calgary Stampeders. That means that Tony Kimbrough will be throwing to the Lions, trying to get them that elusive first win. The Bombers, meantime, have seen a big improvement offensively. Last week, Matt Dunnigan threw for a pair of touchdowns and a very impressive win over the Edmonton Eskimos. And those Eskimos travel to Ottawa this week to play the Roughriders, as both teams are coming off losses. Ottawa's strength remains its defense. It's the best in the East. It's a defense that generates a lot of pressure on quarterbacks, which in turn creates turnovers. Les Brown already has 4 interceptions this season and is 2 behind Larry Heibaugh for the all-time interception lead. But for the first time in a long time, Edmonton's problem appears to be defense. The Eskimos looked sloppy last week against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, who ran roughshod against the Green and Gold en route to a blowout 51-32 victory over the Eskimos. The Ottawa Rough Rider defense didn't have its best performance of the season last week against Saskatchewan, but the Riders still do have the #1 defense in the CFL East. Dexter Manley's a big part of that defense, and our Leif Pedersen sat down and chatted with Dexter earlier this week.
Thanks, Gord. Dexter Manley in his first year with the Ottawa Rough Riders. How are you enjoying it so far?
Well, what I like to do is get a lot of high moms, and that means that I'm making a lot of plays. That means that we're winning, and I like to, contribute a lot more than what I'm doing right now. But my expectations is high, and I don't want to get down on myself because of the fact that I'm not meeting those expectations. Because if I don't meet those expectations, then I begin to feel negative about myself, and then that's a disaster.
Well, I mean, you've been asked to play a different role right now. You are creating opportunities for the linebackers to make sacks, something you haven't done in the past, and I know you really don't like it, but not a bad way to get adjusted to a new league.
No, it's not a bad way. This is a great league. It's fun. Every league, this whole league is a run and shoot type. But what I don't understand is that no matter what, I'm going to be offsides anyway because I'm a Rough Rider. So how can an official call me offsides where two teams have the same name?
No, but you just have to stay a yard off the ball. Now, is that a problem? Obviously it is.
No, it hasn't been since the first game. It's not a problem, and I'm pretty well adjusted to that.
It would be ridiculous to try and compare the two leagues, but do you like the style of the fast pace up here?
I do like the style of the fast pace. You can utilize the hash marks as an offensive coordinator, but for defensive players, it doesn't really matter. For cornerbacks and halfbacks, it matters, but for a defensive lineman, the hash marks doesn't really matter. But, what I find sort of complicated is that yard off the ball. But other than that, the game is fun. There's some talent here. It's just that, got to get more owners in here like Saddam Hussein.
Dexter, it is fun to see you, fun to watch you play. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much.
One thing about Dexter Manley, there is seldom a dull moment. And the same can be said of the CFL Report, which will continue in a minute with the CFL Insider and a look at merchandising the league. We'll be right back. Throughout his CFL career, Bernie Filoni thrilled Canadian football fans from coast to coast. Through 12 seasons in the CFL, Filoni consistently put up big numbers, more than 24,000 yards in total, including more than 14,000 through the air. 151 of those were passes for touchdowns. In 1961, he won the Shenley Award as the CFL's most outstanding player. Hall of Famer and CFL legend, Bernie Filoni. Anywhere you look these days, you can see that sports merchandising is big business. It's billion-dollar business, and the CFL is looking to cash in as well by getting its logos worn by people across the country. With more on the CFL Insider, here's Rod Smith.
Walk through the downtown core of any CFL city, and you'll see people wearing hats bearing the logos of teams from the National Hockey League, the National Basketball Association, the National Football League, Major League Baseball, even the NCAA, the American college system. And oh yes, once in a while you'll see someone wearing a CFL logo, but not too often.
I get upset when I see people wearing NCAA stuff. I mean, I respect that they have their right to wear whatever they want to wear, but every time I see that, I go, there was a missed opportunity for us.
Last year, the NFL sold $2 billion worth of licensed products. Major League Baseball also hit the $2 billion mark. The NBA came in at a very respectable $1.4 billion. The National Hockey League managed to generate $500 million. As for the CFL, its merchandising has been a total failure, generating just over $1 million in 1991. To understand why so few people have chosen to purchase CFL merchandise, we took to the streets of Toronto.
I got a proposition to make for you.
I'd like to give you that cap, but in return, I want you to give me your Ohio State cap. Do we have a deal?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Really?
No problem.
Oh,
Great.
terrific.
There you go.
Just tell me out of curiosity, why did you make the trade?
The BC Lions, it's Canadian, and it's a better hat.
During our informal experiment, we discovered that the majority of the people we approached were willing to exchange their hats, and in one case, T-shirt for our CFL caps. Can you believe this? The shirt off his back for a CFL cap. Now that's dedication. No one we approached criticized the CFL or the hats. The biggest complaint was a lack of availability of the merchandise, and that's a problem the CFL clubs have begun to address by opening their own stores. The Saskatchewan Roughriders run a very successful operation in Regina. The BC Lions will be opening Touchdown Alley across from BC Place in Vancouver. And the End Zone in Toronto has been serving Argo fans for the past 2 years. Since its opening, the store has proved to be a good moneymaker for the Argos. However, that isn't its most important role.
Every time you turn around, you see somebody in an Argonaut shirt. It automatically, whether it be in a bar or a shopping mall, and you're walking with somebody ahead of us, and they say, oh, by the way, the Argonauts, they won last night. It keeps the interest going. And sooner or later, it's going to be, hey, when did they play next? Let's pick up a pair of tickets.
The CFL realizes the potential of licensed products. Even if they sold 5% of what the NFL sells, they could still generate $50 million.
It's something that that we have to do. It doesn't get any more complicated than that, because it's an opportunity that perhaps we haven't exploited to its fullest extent in the past.
And coming up next week on the CFL Insider, a day in the life of CFL Commissioner Larry Smith, a feature we think you'll find interesting. The CFL Report rolls on in just a few moments, and when we come back, the grand old man of the CFL, Roger Aldag. He's moving up on the all-time games played list. More when we come back. Welcome back to the CFL Report. As we look ahead to Week 4, it's also time to look back, and here they are, the CFL Plays of the Week from week number 3. It was that kind of week when people had trouble keeping their mitts on the ball, like Darrell K. Smith of the Argos, and his teammate Paul Massotti with the Butterfingers. BC's Lorne King figured he had the easy 6, but he forgot something important on his way to the end zone. And Massotti again. Maybe they should sew handles on these things. The ball also got the better of Hamilton's Todd Dillon, who couldn't get it down in time for Paulus Balleston with the miss. All this missing had Adam Rita so mad he wanted to write to someone. The only problem is he couldn't get a pen that worked. Darryl Hall with some great anticipation and acceleration, taking this BC turnover 74 yards for the major. And shades of Waddell Smith, a little hot dogging on his way to the end zone. The return of the week, Hamilton's Earl Winfield. He had some nice blocks to work with. He put on some good moves. On his way to a 77-yard touchdown when Hank Olisic played Matador. Winfield with the score. But the play of the week comes with this Ottawa punt. Saskatchewan's Willis Jaycox decides to let the ball roll around, which turns out to be a bad move. Because here comes the speedster. Yes, it's the punter, Terry Baker, who recovers the ball. The hit of the week comes from Calgary's Errol Tucker. Watch the left of your screen as Tucker unloads on BC's Sean Millington. That is worth another look. Millington heard the whistle, but didn't see the train coming. After 3 weeks of the CFL season, here are some of the league leaders. Not surprisingly, the #1 quarterback is Calgary's Doug Flutie, who has thrown for more than 1,200 yards in just 3 games. The leading receiver is Ottawa's Stephon Jones, who has caught 19 passes for 434 yards and 4 touchdowns. The leading rusher also comes from the nation's capital. Ottawa's Reggie Barnes has carried the ball 52 times for 285 yards and a touchdown. The leading sacker is Saskatchewan's Bobby Jurison, who has 5 quarterback sacks already. Winnipeg's Greg Battle is leader in tackles with 23. Mark McLaughlin is the leading field goal kicker. The Calgary kicker has been good on 10 of 13 for 43 points. Saskatchewan's Dave Ridgway is the most accurate, though, 8 of 9 for an 88% average. And the touchdown leader comes from Calgary. It is Keevan Jenkins, who has scored 5 times already, 3 on the ground and 2 through the air to lead the way. Well, even though he didn't make our plays of the week this week, no one knows more about playing than Roger Aldag, who this week moves ahead of Lloyd Fairbanks into 2nd place on the all-time games played list. Our John Wells had a chance to talk with Roger Aldag earlier this week.
Gord, I look at some numbers here. 8 times a Western All-Star, 5 times an All-Canadian, 17 years in the CFL. Roger, some people wonder how long this can possibly last for you.
Well, I wonder myself some days, but it's just right now I'm having a lot of fun playing football yet, and until that ends, I keep playing football, and I'm going to play another year and see what happens, and I just take it one game at a time now.
One game at a time, 1 year at a time, but as you look back, there must have been some other times where you weren't having quite as much fun playing this game.
Yeah, we had some tough years, 11 years out of the playoffs. Saskatchewan Rough Riders, we had some tough years, and winning's what football's all about, and you have fun when you win, and we won the Grey Cup in '89. We hope to do it again this year.
That obviously has to be a career highlight, and a couple of Shenleys along the way, too.
Yeah, anytime you win a Grey Cup as a team, that's definitely the highlight. The Shenleys are nice, but #1 goal is to win the Grey Cup, and that's what it's all about.
Quick thought about this edition of the Saskatchewan Rough Riders. It seems like it's a team with an offense that can score a bunch, and I guess you just have to keep scoring and wait for the defense to catch up a little bit.
Our defense will be catching up. We got some good players, and just a matter of getting used to the system, the attack-style defense, and they're definitely going to start turning the ball over for us. And offensively, we just got to keep scoring the touchdowns.
This is a better offense than you've seen in this city in a while?
Yeah, with quarterback Ken Austin, he's definitely the best passer in the league, and with our receivers, we got all 4 or 5 good receivers, and they're explosive. We can score at any time.
All right, thanks very much. Continued success.
Thank you, John.
And our next game on TSN features Roger Aldag's Saskatchewan Rough Riders at home to the Calgary Stampeders. That game comes your way August 7th, 9:30 Eastern, 7:30 local here on TSN. And when the CFL Report returns, we'll go fishing with Eskimos, Edmonton Eskimos. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the 4th edition of the CFL Report for the 1992 season. Well, familiar faces in different places. The story of Week 3 of this season. The Argos made some moves, as did the Ticats. The new community ownership bought the team and got a toaster. Brett Williams is back. The 34-year-old defensive lineman joined the Hamilton Ticats this week. The toaster was a CFL All-Star last season with the Edmonton Eskimos, but was released at the start of the season. More bad news for the BC Lions. Defensive lineman Stu Hill broke his arm Sunday and will be out for 3 to 4 weeks. This coming on the heels of the Lions confirming that fullback Mike Marasco was out for the season with torn knee ligaments. Marasco was injured last week against Calgary. Also injured last week was Calgary linebacker Mark Singer, who suffered a bruised knee. He'll be out for about 3 weeks. The Toronto Argonauts promised changes, and here they come. The Argos released safety Dave Bavell on Sunday, while in Saskatchewan, slotback Jeff Fairholm continues to suffer from a nagging hamstring injury. He's listed as day-to-day and might miss Thursday's game in Hamilton. Last week, Fairholm was replaced by former University of Saskatchewan star Dan Farthing, and he impressed, especially with his hand, making a spectacular 17-yard touchdown reception. Remember Tim Jesse? Well, he's back with the Bombers. Jesse was Winnipeg's leading rusher back in 1989, and he has returned to the Big Blue, but not as a running back. The Bombers now are employing him as a slot back. Last week in his first game since 1990, Jesse caught a pair of passes for the Bombers. Calgary head coach Wally Buono continues to be unbeatable in the month of July. His record in that month now 8-0-1. And former Argo and New Orleans Saints running back Gil Finnerty retired earlier this week. Finnerty has a back condition which might develop into arthritis if he continues to play. Finnerty was a star running back for the Argos in the late 1980s. When he took over for Danny Bass at middle linebacker, Larry Ruck had two important jobs. One, to play the position well, and two, to take over the chairmanship of the Edmonton Eskimos' annual fishing derby for charity. Well, Ruck's done a pretty good job on both counts. He's played great at linebacker, and the fishing derby was a success too. Lac La Bonne is about 100 kilometers northwest of Edmonton. It was the site of the 1992 Edmonton Eskimo Uncles at Large Charity Fishing Classic. Players like Leroy Blue, Pierre Vercheval, and several others took in the action in differing ways. 20 boats on the lake trying to catch the biggest fish with much different results. Lloyd Lewis took it a little more seriously than others. Players like Dwayne Odom just out to enjoy the nice weather. And Tom Mickey, who usually likes to have his passes caught, was caught receiving this big one. No matter what they reeled in, the big winners here were the kids from Uncles at Large.
This is our third annual charity tournament here for Uncles at Large, and there's 20 Edmonton Eskimos out here today, and we've got 20 corporate sponsors that fish along with 20 pro staff fishermen. And it's our third year. We've raised $20,000 the last 2 years, and we're going to raise a pile of money again this year for Uncles at Large, and I think the day was a real success. Fishing was kind of tough today. We had real hot, dry weather, but you know, I think there were still some nice fish coming in here today. Unfortunately, I don't think you'll see me on that leaderboard, but next year.
Well, I caught a few. I mean, I threw some back that I would have never thrown back if I was out by myself, but you know, there are rules on the lake that you have to abide by, so I imagine they were too small, but the ones that were too small was the biggest fish I ever caught. But it was a lot of fun.
And while the organizers were busy weighing the ones that didn't get away, the Eskimos were busy visiting with their fans, young and old, from northern Alberta, who got a rare chance to see their heroes up close. When it was all done, Leroy Blue and Willie Pless had come away with top honors, and the Eskimos had helped a very worthy cause.
Well, this is one of a number of events that you know, the Eskimos really get involved with all the year round, but this is one of the larger ones. I think this is probably the largest one as far as player participation goes. We have 20 guys do it, so you know, I think it's a big event for us and one we just love to do, and hopefully this will carry on and be a tradition for many years.
Well, they wouldn't be Eskimos if they didn't like to hunt or fish, right? Well, we haven't seen hunting or fishing on the entertainers yet, but we have seen plenty of talent. It's our new halftime feature on the CFL Game of the Week, and the next edition comes up at halftime at the Saskatchewan-Calgary game, August the 7th. As we go on the CFL Report, here's a look and listen at last week's winner, Stephon Jones of the Ottawa Rough Riders.
Roll back the rug, everybody. Move all the tables and chairs. We're gonna have us a good time tonight. Everyone's here and we're balling. The chandelier downstairs has fallen. I know it's hard to resist. This is the party no one wanted to miss. If you don't get home on the double, you're going to be in trouble. I hope your mother don't look in your room, 'cause if she does, you'll be his.
The CFL Report on TSN is brought to you by Pepsi. Gotta have it.
TSN takes you inside the world of sports television tonight on For the Love of the Game. Catch a special encore presentation of Behind the Screen. Join host Jim Van Horn at 8 Eastern only on Real TV, TSN.